What if Gandhari opened her eyes? In this alternate Mahabharata, the story changed on the night before the Kurukshetra war was to begin. Gandhari, the blindfolded queen of Hastinapur, had kept her eyes covered for decades as an act of devotion to her husband Dhritarashtra. But on this fateful night, tormented by nightmares of her 100 sons dying, she made a decision that would shake destiny itself. She removed her blindfold. For the first time in years, Gandhari opened her eyes. The power of her long-suppressed gaze, said by sages to carry the intensity of a mother's love and pain, awakened something divine within her, the vision of a mother. The next morning, instead of blessing Duryodhana as usual, Gandhari stood before the entire Kaurava army with her eyes uncovered. What she saw horrified her, a future drenched in blood, her sons lying dead on the battlefield, Hastinapur reduced to ashes. With tears streaming down her face, she confronted her eldest son in front of the entire army. Duryodhana, my child, I have seen the end. If you go to war, not one of you will return alive. I beg you, as your mother, choose peace. Duryodhana was stunned. Shakuni tried to intervene, but Gandhari's rare display of raw maternal authority silenced the court. Even Drona and Bhishma were moved. Krishna, who had come as a messenger, stepped forward and said gently, even the gods cannot ignore a mother's plea when it comes from such purity. The ripple effect, Duryodhana, deeply shaken by his mother's words and her uncovered eyes, agreed to a final round of negotiations. Karna, who had always respected Gandhari, supported the move for peace. After intense discussions, a historic treaty was signed. The kingdom would be divided fairly. The Pandavas would rule Indraprastha and the eastern lands. The Kauravas would retain Hastinapur and the western territories. Karna was recognized as the eldest Pandava and given the kingdom of Anga as an independent ally. Both sides swore to mutual defense and eternal brotherhood. The Kurukshetra war was completely avoided. The new golden age, with Gandhari's eyes now open, she became a powerful guiding force in Hastinapur. She advised both her sons and the Pandavas with wisdom and fairness. Duryodhana gradually transformed into a more responsible ruler under his mother's watchful gaze. Karna and Arjuna became close friends. Abhimanyu and Lakshmana Kumara grew up as inseparable cousins. Draupadi found peace and respect in both kingdoms. Under this balanced rule, Bharatvarsha entered a true golden age of prosperity, knowledge, and harmony. Gandhari's decision to open her eyes became legendary, a symbol that sometimes the greatest strength lies in facing painful truths. In her later years, when people asked why she finally removed the blindfold, Gandhari would reply with a gentle smile. A mother's love should never be blind. It must see clearly, even when it hurts. After the historic peace treaty was signed, Gandhari's decision to remove her blindfold marked the beginning of a new chapter for Bharatvarsha. The mother's guidance, with her eyes now open, Gandhari became one of the most respected figures in both kingdoms. She traveled between Hastinapur and Indraprastha, acting as a bridge and advisor. Her clear vision, both literal and metaphorical, helped resolve many disputes before they could escalate. Duryodhana, under his mother's direct influence, slowly changed. He channeled his ambition into making Hastinapur prosperous rather than destroying his cousins. He became known as a fierce but fair ruler. Karna, now fully accepted as the eldest Pandava, served as the imperial commander and helped maintain balance between the two thrones. Arjuna and Karna trained warriors together. Bhima and Duryodhana turned their rivalry into legendary friendly competitions that became cultural festivals. Draupadi and Gandhari developed a deep bond, working together on social reforms, especially for women and the underprivileged. The next generation, Abhimanyu and Lakshmana Kumara, grew up as the closest of brothers. Under the guidance of Gandhari, Bhishma, and Krishna, they were raised with the values of unity over division. Eklavya was invited to train both princes, further breaking old barriers of birth and caste. When a massive invasion threatened from the northwest by the combined forces of foreign kings, the two empires fought as one for the first time. The united army, led by Karna and Arjuna, with Duryodhana and Bhima on the front lines, achieved a glorious victory. This shared triumph cemented the alliance forever. The golden era, under the dual system, Bharatvarsha flourished like never before. New universities were built. Trade routes expanded, and justice systems were reformed. Gandhari's open eyes became a symbol across the land, reminding rulers that leadership required clear vision and compassion. In her later years, Gandhari often sat with all her children, the Pandavas and Kauravas, and told them stories. She would say, "I kept my eyes closed for my husband, but I opened them for my sons. And in doing so, I saved you all." When Bhishma eventually passed away peacefully, he was surrounded by the entire extended family. Gandhari held his hand till the end, her eyes clear and full of gratitude. The lasting legacy. Karna eventually succeeded as the senior emperor, with Yudhishthira and Duryodhana serving as his co-rulers. Abhimanyu and Lakshmana Kumara became the future faces of a united Bharatvarsha. The Mahabharata in this timeline was remembered as the tale of the seeing mother, the story of how one queen's courage to open her eyes prevented the greatest tragedy in history and gave birth to centuries of peace and prosperity. Gandhari became a revered figure, almost saint-like. Temples were built in her honor, not as a goddess, but as the ideal of a mother's love and wisdom. The end.